to Arthur Brown Photography. Today I'm going to look at selecting equipment for a photo shoot. I've got a photo shoot tomorrow at a vintage carnival at Nottingham Racecourse. So it's going to be a day out in the open. We're going to be walking, so I don't want to carry too much. So I'm really looking at thinking about what I'm going to be taking pictures of tomorrow, what equipment I might like to take to achieve that. I've decided I'm going to take two camera bodies tomorrow. First of all, I've got the Canon 5D Mark II, and on that I've got the Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens. Now, reasons for taking these: the Canon 5D Mark II is a full frame camera, and it's the 35mm that gives me a perspective that's a little bit wider than the standard lens, and also with an aperture of f1.4. This can give me good out of focus backgrounds, and also if there are any stuff that's indoors in tents or marquees or anything, it will give me that extra bit of light as well. The other camera I'm going to take is the Canon 70D. This is a good bit lighter, but it's still a fairly good camera. It's a crop sensor camera anyway. So obviously it's a slightly smaller image size, but it has the advantage of it gives good telephoto performance. Now, I'm not quite decided which lens I'm going to take yet. I did invest a few years ago in this beast. It's the Canon 70-200 f2.8. Now, this is probably actually the most expensive lens I've got in my collection, but it actually doesn't get used very often. The main reason for that is it's so heavy. It's fine if you're working in a studio or on a tripod, but to carry this around all day, it is quite, attached to a full frame camera as well. It is very heavy, especially when you get to be a bit older like myself. So you do start thinking about how useful this is. In fact, now I've got it out, I actually haven't used it since the last time I did a wedding. Now, I actually don't do many weddings. I don't like shooting weddings, so I normally refuse requests for wedding photography. But if it's something unusual though, like some kind of fancy dress wedding or steampunk, or actually the last one I did was an Edwardian theme wedding at an open air museum, and I did use this, but actually that's more than 2 years ago now, and I don't think, apart from perhaps the odd shot of my dogs, I've not used it since. Now, that's a big investment to make for something that's not used very often, and I'm actually thinking of selling this and going for a 70-200 f4 Canon lens, because they're pretty good. They're sharper. They're sharp, and also a lot lighter than this as well. A couple of alternatives for telephotos. Well, three alternatives I've got actually, which I'm going to think about today. First of all, I've got the Canon 135 f2. Now this is probably actually supposed to be the sharpest lens that Canon have ever made. Now, I've got no way of testing that really, but it is pretty good. And also, being f2, it does have some great out of focus backgrounds when you're shooting portraits. And obviously, I've got the 35mm lens for doing wider shots and things, but this would be very good for taking portraits of people tomorrow, headshots and that type of thing. So I may well consider that. The other lens I've got is the Canon 85mm f1.8. Again, on a crop sensor camera, this is quite good. It has an equivalent focal length of, I think, 85, about 120 and 125 millimeters on a crop sensor camera, and again it's wide aperture, it lets in lots of light, and it has very good out of focus backgrounds on it. My third choice really for tomorrow is this lens here, which is one that I actually use a lot. It's a lens that it wasn't hugely expensive, because I actually bought this in the Cecil Jacobs fire sale when they went bust about 3 or 4 years ago, and I think I probably only paid about £118 for it, which is pretty good. And this is the Sigma 70-300. It's an f4 to f5.6 zoom. Now it does have a disadvantage over the Canon lens, that it does get the aperture gets smaller as you zoom out, which it can be a bit of a problem in poor light conditions. But the advantages of this is it's very light, and also it has a very good image stabilizer in it. It also, I don't know whether this is by luck or whether they're all like this, but this one is actually very, very good, and I've actually taken a lot of prize-winning photographs with this. It is very sharp. But again, you do need good light. So I am out during the day tomorrow. The weather forecast's fairly good, so I suspect this will be number one choice for the crop sensor camera. I mean, it can be a bit of a problem choosing the equipment. I mean, it's fine if you're going to do a shoot where you're just working out the back of the car, because I can stick a large case in with a selection of lenses. But when I'm out walking about and I've got to carry the equipment, it is important to make the right choice for the day anyway. So I think I've probably narrowed it down to full frame camera with a 35mm f1.4 and the crop sensor camera, the Canon 70D with the Sigma 70-300 zoom lens on it. But what I'll do is once I've taken the pictures at this photo shoot, I will do another post, and you can see how I got on. Okay, if you enjoyed this, remember to like, to comment, and subscribe, and look out for my next video. Thank you.